So is Dak going to put his signature on that piece of paper today?
Yeah, it sure sounds that way. And it's kind of a surprise because he had been so dug in, and the impression that we've gotten is he wants his long-term contract by July 15, and if they don't give it to him, he's potentially going to stay away from training camp and preseason. But the bottom line is quarterbacks got to be ready to go. And in his mind, this is a contract year just like last year was. Last year was a contract year for $2 million. This year's a contract year for $31.4 million, but it's still a contract year, and he needs to have a good year. He's got a new coach. He's got a new approach. He's got a new everything that he's got to get up to speed with. Now, a lot of same teammates, obviously, same offensive coordinator, but he needs to be ready to go. He's not plug and play like a Le'Veon Bell in 2017. He's the guy who needs to be there, and it also takes off the table the very, very, very slim possibility that the Cowboys would change their mind about rescinding the franchise tender and making him a free agent at a time when everyone's depth chart is set and everyone's budget's been turned upside down.
So why hasn't there been a deal? Is it just a back-end fourth, fifth year? Is it COVID-19 messing potentially with future caps and the Cowboys trying to figure out what that might be before they sign him? What do you think this is?
Well, the easiest impediment, Rich, is that it's a deadline-driven business and the deadline is July 15th.
Right.
And if anybody moves toward their bottom line now, what happens is you're going to get squeezed off of it when it comes time to figure out exactly how much you're going to pay. And if here's my bottom line, well, your bottom line today is going to become your bottom line plus something else on July 14th. So that's part of it. But here's what it comes down to: Dak's got $31.4 million in hand once he signs the franchise tender. Next year, he's in line for a 20% raise if they tag him again. That's $37.68 million. That's $69.08 million combined for 2 years, plus the year 3. What do? Transition tag, $45 million. Franchise tag, $54 million for 1 year. Or let him walk away like Kirk Cousins in Washington from a couple of years ago. What do? And from Dak's perspective, they need to offer him something that will cause him to say, I'll trade in this bird in the hand for whatever it is that you're offering me. And only Dak knows what the offer is going to be to require him to say, okay, I'll give up my chance to go year to year and make nearly $70 million and potentially force my way to free agency in just 2 years.
So the Cousins route, the Kirk Cousins path to 9 figures in the bank, basically, is what you're saying.
Exactly. And the open market. I mean, look, people get mad at Dak for not taking whatever the Cowboys want to pay him, but the Cowboys have taken full advantage of all rights they have under the CBA. They paid him for 4 years as a fourth-round draft pick, and last year he made $2 million. They didn't give him an extension that he found acceptable. He played that year with the injury risk, and now he's in a spot where they've chosen to apply the franchise tag. They've chosen to apply the exclusive level of the franchise tag at $31.4 million, $5 or $4 million more than what the non-exclusive level would have been. And so now he has rights in the face of that. And his biggest right at this point is to say, I'll take 31.4 now, I'll take 37.68 next year, and then you're going to have to make one hell of a decision in 2022.
Mike Florio here on the Rich Eisen Show. Why does Jerry Jones always do this late with everybody? What's the deal here?
Here's what I think. I think that Jerry believes that when the time comes to throw his arm around a guy, and remember this bubbled up last year with Ezekiel Elliott,
Sure.
And there was talk of how they did it with Des Bryant, how they'll try to negotiate directly with the player, even though they're not supposed to negotiate directly with a player who's represented by an NFLPA certified agent. It happens. And I think they believe that, at the appropriate time, they're going to get Dak to take less than what he otherwise is entitled to. And, they got that with Tony Romo, who was undrafted, who wasn't supposed to be in the NFL at all. He took less than maybe he could have gotten if he had played it out. And I think they've been stunned, big picture, by the fact that Dak didn't take whatever they offered last year before he entered the last year of his contract. There's a Joe Flacco vibe to all of this. Remember, even though Flacco won the Super Bowl and was the MVP and was able to leverage that into the biggest contract ever signed by any quarterback at the time, but he bet on himself. He said no thanks to the offer that the Ravens made in August of 2012, and he won. And even though the Cowboys were 8-8 last year, Dak did the same thing, and Dak won. And here he is with $31.4 million in hand, which is a nice raise over the $2 million he made last year.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.